Good morning and welcome to Brewcast, a podcast initiative by Brew My Brand. Brewcast, because every brand deserves a voice. Come, let's brew something beautiful.
Pour a thought, stir a dream, blend the heart with the brand and steam. Whispers rise, voices shine, brewed with soul, one word at a time. Stories echo bold and bright, steeped in truth, lit with light from passion's flame to purpose true. Your brand, your voice, freshly brewed.
Presenting Brewcast, episodes 7 and 8, featuring Dr. Rajdeep Manwani. This is episode 8, In the Eyes of the Beholder, Chapter 2, What Vision Builds. In the previous chapter, we paused at a quiet turning point, a moment where loss had transformed into learning.
When I completed my BCom and I started doing my MCom, I was looking at a job as a telephone operator. In those days, a person with vision impairment, the only job which was available to him was being a telephone operator or a music teacher, and I didn't have music skills. And I tried very desperately to get as a telephone operator in the public sector banks. We had Vijaya Bank, we had Bank of Baroda, but I didn't get it before I became a teacher. And I think so that was the biggest gift, because if I had gotten as a telephone operator, I wouldn't be doing this interview. The reason I didn't get that job was, I think so, destiny had something for me to become a teacher. And I always believe this. These are words from Amitabh Bachchan, who says in Hindi, "Jab man se ho to acha, jo man ka na ho to wo usse bhi acha," which simply means that if things happen according to your will, it's good. But if it doesn't happen according to your will, it's even better, because there's God's will in it.
And blurred sight had sharpened purpose. A vision was taking shape. Not yet for the world, but first for himself.
When I cleared my MCom, I got the gold medal from the University of Mysore, and I thought getting a job will be extremely easy. So what I did was, I took my report card and I went to the first college, and they refused. They said, "Oh my God, you're blind, how will you write on the board? That to a subject like commerce." I tried the second time and then I failed. They told me, "No, the same thing, you can't." And I tried 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. I extended it to 10 times, then 15 times. I had almost given up. I tried for the 16th time, and after that, one day I had called the person who had met me at the convocation ceremony in University of Mysore when I had collected my gold medal. His name was Dr. M.K. Sridhar, who later on became my guide for PhD. And he had told me to call him up once I come to Bangalore. I called him up and he said, "Rajdeep, there's a new college which has come up. Why don't you try there?" And I tried there and I got the job. And the life lesson I learned is that there is an imaginary finishing line. This imaginary finishing line is a concept from marathon. It's also called the wall, where between the 30th and 35th kilometer out of the 42 kilometer race, 60% of the people give up. And they say, "No, we can't continue." They feel mentally fatigued. They feel very tired. They feel their bones are aching. Their muscles are paining. But there are some champions who just push themselves for another 50-100 meters and they can cross the finishing line with ease. And I realized that every individual, whether it's a career issue, a relationship issue, a health issue, has that imaginary finishing line to cross. I crossed mine after 16 colleges. So I learned this very, very important lesson, that life sends you troubles just for you to cross that imaginary finishing line.
And now we return to follow that vision as it steps beyond the self. Because some journeys don't end when a person finds their footing. They begin when that footing becomes a path for others. This chapter is not about what was taken away. It is about what was built in its place. A voice that makes people pause. A presence that listens before it speaks. A life that quietly reminds us that impact doesn't need permission, only intention. In this chapter, we move from resilience to resonance, from survival to service, from seeing within to helping others see. This is a story of how vision, once found, chose to give itself away. Welcome to Chapter 2. What Vision Builds. His sessions are not lectures. They are conversations. They are experiences. They are mirrors that make you see something new about yourself. He speaks of motivation, inclusion, confidence, communication. But what people remember is the humanity behind his words. Because when he speaks, you listen. Not because he demands the stage, but because he fills it with meaning.
Always believe that students don't care how much you know, but they definitely know how much you care. 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, I want to be remembered as a teacher who was caring and creative, who put in his best, taught the best, and cared the best. And I feel if students can just remember me that, oh, I had a teacher who did his best for me, and he also was very, very caring about me. I think so that's the legacy I would to leave me.
And before the wisdom settles in, before the lessons land, there is laughter.
During the pandemic, I was taking these online classes, and the classes used to be very early in the morning, and I remember I heard one of the students yawn, and I figured out the student through the Zoom call was a boy, and I asked him, "What is this? Have you been sleeping late? Haven't you heard this saying, early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise?" And he yawned and in a sleepy voice said, "Sir, the saying has changed. In today's world, early to bed and early to rise makes your girlfriend go out with other guys."
An effortless sense of humor, quick wit, a spontaneity that keeps you leaning forward, never quite knowing what thought or smile will come next.
The point to listen to everybody was taught to me when I was teaching in a counseling center. And there was this lady who had come from Bengal, and she was going to this cancer hospital, speaking to people and students who had got cancer and individuals who were suffering from cancer, just to listen to their stories. And she was from Bengal. She didn't understand one word of English, of whatever the patients were saying, or of Kannada, what they were saying. But every time anybody used to tell her, she used to sit and she used to say just two words, "Is it? Is it?" in different tones. Or in Kannada, she used to say, "Hauda? Hauda?" And every patient used to love talking to her, even though she didn't understand a word. And I think so that made a profound impact, that if you have the right intention to listen, if you are willing to give yourself to the other person, then everybody would love to speak to you. So I think so that incident, that lady taught me so much about listening.
His presence of mind is magnetic. He responds in the moment, adapts to the room, reads energy the way others read slides. It's why students never treated his lectures as obligations. They showed up early. They stayed back. They listened, not because they had to, but because he made learning feel alive. Humor for him is not an escape, it is a bridge. One that makes people comfortable enough to listen and present enough to change.
As a person, what I am is a fun-loving person who loves to spread happiness. I remember when my son was young and his friends used to call up on the landline, and in those days we used to have a landline. I used to deliberately pick up the phone and say, "Pratyush's proud father speaking," and all his friends used to giggle on the other end. And I remember this, that sometimes I used to hear a call and I used to pick up the call, "Pratyush's proud father speaking," and I used to hear giggles at the other end. I think so there are some people who spread happiness wherever they go, and some people who spread happiness whenever they go. I think so I have been such a person who loves to spread happiness wherever I go.
He didn't stop at his own journey. He made it a point to light the way for thousands more.
What talent you have is God's gift to you. But what you do with that talent is your gift to God. And the purpose is how you utilize that talent. For me, my talent is a responsibility, because I feel the purpose of my life is to speak, to inspire people, to touch thousands of lives. And I think that, can I utilize that gift which has been given to me by God? Because every one of us has that gift. Somebody might have the gift of teaching, somebody might have the gift of engineering, somebody may be having the gift of podcasting, somebody might have the gift of setting up new ventures. So can we utilize that gift? It's a responsibility which has been given to us, and we have to carry out that responsibility to the best of our ability.
Students, professionals, individuals with disabilities who needed one person to say, "You can."
I've always believed in this saying which says that don't judge and you will never be judged. So any student, whatever type of student I meet, I always say, let me look at him with a clean slate. Everybody has that potential, so let me look at him with a clean slate and see what he is capable of. But the problem is that as soon as we start making judgments, as soon as we start thinking that, oh, this person might be like this or this person might be like that, we miss the person. And I don't want to miss the person. I want to experience the person just as he is, because everybody has their own strengths, weaknesses, everybody has their own life, their own lessons to teach. So I don't look at anything in a student. I just see him with my clean slate. I remember this story. We were in my college where I studied, we had been given this mentorship, and there was this girl who was assigned as my mentee, and she was very good in studies in the first 2 semesters, but in the 3rd semester her grades started coming down, and I was very upset, and I spoke to her and she never opened up at all. I asked her friends if she's going through a relationship issue, and they said, no, we don't know. And in the 4th semester, I remember she came in and she started sobbing in front of me. And I asked her what happened. She said, no, sir, you are asking me why I have gone down in my studies, what's wrong with my life. I'll tell you this, sir. My father died and my mother has married again, and my stepfather is ill-treating me and he's troubling me. And I used to keep listening to her, making her feel confident. But from the 5th semester and 6th semester, she disappeared from college. I tried everything to find her, but I couldn't find her, and I was thinking, might be I did a mistake, I should have reported the matter to the police. But after a few years, I had gone to give a talk in a company, and I felt a gentle pat, and she said, sir, remember me? I remembered her. She was that same girl. She took me and she told me, sir, if I'm alive today, it's only because of you. I remember the days when you used to listen to me patiently whenever I used to sob and just encourage me. I told myself, if a stranger like this teacher can listen to me, my family members can do much better. So I contacted my father's sister. She made me do the MBA through correspondence, and now I'm working as an executive in this company. That happiness which I got for changing a life, touching a life, I would love to relive it again. I was very happy when my son had taken his first steps, but this happiness even outweighed that.
He works with organizations, government bodies, universities, social groups, all with one intention: to make inclusion a lived reality, not a word on paper.
I was fiercely independent till my 8th standard. I didn't allow anybody to do my work. But after I lost my eyesight, I realized that the very word independent is a very big misnomer. The word which should be used is interdependent. We all are interdependent on each other. Every human being is interdependent. Nobody can stay alone like Robinson Crusoe in an island. Even though you might be physically very, very independent, but emotionally you have to send those WhatsApp messages, you have to connect with human beings. And I realized that interdependence is a norm of life. There was a beautiful saying which I had heard somewhere. A wise man was once asked, what's the difference between human beings and angels? And he said, angels have 2 wings and they can fly. But human beings have only 1 wing, so they have to hold each other's hands and fly. And I think so that understanding has made a difference in my life.
In 2013, the President of India honored him as a national role model for empowerment of persons with disabilities. A moment that validated not just his achievements but his heart.
Every individual has a purpose and a potential. Every individual on this planet. See, when you buy a product from a very renowned manufacturer, let's say Apple, you know instinctively that the product is very good. You know whether it's an iPhone or an iPad or a MacBook, it's good. If we can trust a manufacturer of non-living things with so much respect and awe, what about the creator of the universe? He will never create a defective product, right? So I see clearly that everybody has potential. Everybody has that purpose. Everybody has that potential. He can never make a defective product. Everyone has some spark in him. Everybody has something in them which they can contribute to this world in some way or the other.
People assume he is unbreakable, but strength, he reminds us, isn't the absence of breaking. It's knowing how to rebuild yourself every time. And the beauty of his story, he makes struggle look like a stepping stone, not a stop sign.
Saying of Rabindranath Tagore, which says that if even a single child is born in this planet, it means God has still hope in this planet. And I think so for me, hope is that small, quiet companion which tells you, go on, come on, there's something which is there, you can do it, you can do it. It's not something which keeps shouting at my ear, but every moment of my life, there is hope. There is something which is going to be better, right? For every thorn, there is a rose. For every rugged bypath, there is a beautiful path which lays ahead. So I think so hope is that small, quiet companion which eggs you on at every point of.
Behind the academic brilliance, behind the honors, behind the humor and joy, there is love. Love for learning, love for people, love for purpose, love for the world, even when the world wasn't always fair.
There have been multiple turning points in my life, and I think so one very, very important turning point of my life was I was sitting in my classroom and I was very dejected because I had lost my eyesight, and there was my biology teacher, Mr. Alexander Nainen, who came up to me and he said, Rajdeep, I found a poem which I want to read out to you. And he read out this poem. The poem goes like this. Roll by and leave the past behind. That much I had counted as sorrows proved that God was kind. That many a rose I longed for had a thorn of pain. That many a rugged bypath led to fields of ripened grain. The clouds that cover the sunshine can never banish the sun. Earth shines brighter when the weary rain is done. We must stand in the darkest shadows to see the brightest light. For it's from life's worst obstacles that comes the greatest strength to fight. I made him read that poem 2 times, and I think so half of my disappointment, half of my disgust was lifted, because I think the poem was written just for me. The clouds that cover the sunshine can never banish the sun. Might be my eyes have been covered, but my personality can still shine. Every rugged bypath leads to fields of ripened grain. It might be very difficult, but it might lead to something beautiful. Earth shines brighter when the weary rain is done. When it rains, it's all gloomy. But when it gets over, it looks as if the earth has got a whitewash. I think so that was one very, very important turning point in my life, in my 8th standard. always find happiness in the small things, success in the big things, find God in everything, faith in one thing, and meditate on nothing. I think so. These 5 lines can have the pause and the principle of your life.
That day, during that unexpected call, something shifted in me. I didn't just meet a guest for Brewcast. I met a perspective, a force, a reminder that the world still has people who elevate others simply by being themselves. And as I spoke to him, I found myself thinking about the world we live in today. We live in a world overflowing with excuses, reasons not to do something rather than reasons to try. Most of us turn a blind eye to anything that asks for more than 30 seconds of our time. But then you meet someone like Dr. Rajdeep Manwani. When we find a million reasons to crib, crumble or sink into sadness, here's a man whose energy and cheerfulness are so infectious that he could shoo off despair and gloom on a one-way trip to Neverland with no return ticket. A man who sees beyond your words, listens beyond your pauses, and speaks in a way that makes you stop, reflect, and feel deeply. An inspiring achiever who has crushed the impossible to prove what truly is possible. He lost much of his sight, yet showed the world what vision truly means.
Just trust nature. I've always believed the spotless hand of God or nature or whatever you call it is too merciful to punish, too wise to make a mistake. In every blow there is a blessing, and God will never send troubles to tumble you. He will send you troubles only to humble you. What you think is an end is only a bend. If that one thing can be grilled into your mind, I think so life will be so beautiful.
In the eyes of the beholder lies beauty indeed.